Hello and welcome to another episode of the Complete Agent podcast. It is
What? Special.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm going
It's a special.
a special episode. I'm going to say, I was about to say this is a...
Let him carry on.
Come on, get on with it.
Keep that in.
Get on with it.
Oh, do you want me to do a
Real,
special
innit?
episode? Yeah.
Right. Keep it in.
Yeah? Special episode?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Complete Agent podcast. This is a milestone episode, our 100th, lads. How far we have come. And we've decided to film it and talk a little bit about how our years were in 2025, what we think we've got planned for 2026, what we see in the future for 2026, and we're also going to talk to you a bit about how the Complete Agent came to be, where it's at now, and how the blueprint that we have created has really helped us on our journey. So I think it's fair to say, lads, it's been a good couple of years. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. I'd normally say to you, lads, how's our week been? I'm now going to say to you, how the hell has your year been? Ian Story, let's go to you, mate, first.
Well, best year ever, 2025. We hit the top target that we put in place for the team.
Nice.
Which was obviously amazing, and it's just a product of consistency, working very hard, having the right team, being selective, implementing everything that's in our process here, the Complete Agent process. So it was fantastic. When you look back at where we were, in estate agency land, where I was sort of 8 years ago, I was getting excited by putting a 180 grand house on and getting paid $2,000 for it. And to fast forward to where we are now is absolutely amazing. So we had a fantastic year. Yeah, it's how can we build on that year now in 2026 and do even better.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's one of the most exciting things, though. But I always think that about you guys in particular, because you're absolutely flying now, and it's like, how do you build on the incredible success that you've already got?
Although we thought that
Incredible sex, did you say?
yeah,
Success.
different podcast. That.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I forgot which podcast we're on then. But
Yeah, the completion agent podcast coming next.
We however, I've thought that every year. So in 2024, I thought, because we did a really good number in 2024, and I think because I've got imposter syndrome, like we probably all have, I thought, oh my God, well that was a fluke. So how are we going to do better than that in 2025? And we've done better than that in 2025.
Yeah.
And it's likely that we'll do better than that in 2026, unless there's some massive event that none of us can control. Because I think we've now really got the right team in that we've not had before up until the last couple of months. So
I mean, just touching on it quickly, because obviously we're going to jump around here, but with yours, I think you've massively improved your upfront marketing fees, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's been a big factor for you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of emphasis for you guys as well, I think I'm right in saying, has gone on making sure you finish really strong. Because I think for anybody going into the next year, you've got to try and have a strong pipeline, because that pretty much dictates the rest of the year.
Yeah, it does, and that's key. Yeah, so the pipeline going into 2025 was very, very good. The pipeline coming into 26 has been good. It probably could have been better, but it's still been very strong. The key that changed for us at the back end of last year was bringing in our senior valuer Matt. So he hit the ground running, got a very good conversion rate in his first couple of months at the right fees with upfront marketing fees. So because we've got him there now and me and the right team. As well as that, with everyone else that works at Stories, I think that is what will give us the growth again this year. Because there was a big portion of 2025, probably 3 or 4 months, where it was just me out valuing. So my diary was stacked and I was just ridiculously busy. And you can't get the same result, can you, when you're that busy?
No.
Because you're just not got enough time. I was rushing valuations, and we still did what we did. So if this coming year, we can.
Some might say you were busy as fuck.
Some might say that.
For those of you who don't understand what James just said there, that is something that I say pretty much every day.
Yeah. So, I had a good year. How was your year, JK?
Yeah, good actually. A little bit gutted that I didn't hit our target that we set.
But it was lofty.
Yeah.
And you still did a really good number.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what it's like.
Yeah.
You aim for the stars. You hit the top of the tree. You've still done well, but I'm still a little bit gutted. And I just think there's a few sales that if they'd happened a bit quicker or exchanged a bit quicker, would have happened.
Yeah.
Like the money was there, it just didn't turn quick enough. But we've really improved our upfront fees this year. We've improved our fee is growing year on year.
Yeah.
Our turnover's growing year on year. Our team's grown. I mean, we've grown by 3 team members in the last 12, 18 months.
Yeah, wow.
Which is quite big, really, if you think about it. And it's been, we've got a creative person now, we've got in-house photographer, videographer, got a sales progressor that has allowed us to move our previous sales progressor over to a home stylist role. So, kind of to echo what you were saying, mate, we've gone from having just the core kind of agency team to growing that extra team to enable us to do things like, we had 12 Days of Christmas go out in December.
Yeah.
That was all just organised, taken care of.
Yeah.
Self-employed viewing assistants again as well. We've had them for a little while now, and it's just nice to know that one thing I take lots from both of you. Obviously, we've been good friends for some time now, and obviously, we'll come into how we started TCA and how it all works. But I take different things out of our conversations, and I look at different things you guys do both in and out of your businesses. So one thing I take from you is holidays, and I know we joke and take the mick that you're always on holiday, but it's so important the amount of times that like this year I am really ready for a holiday. Last year I was really ready for a holiday.
Yeah, you are filming this year. Already.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
it's been a busy week.
It's been a busy week. But yeah, spoiler alert: we are filming this at the end of 2025. But yeah, really ready for a holiday. But that's one thing I've taken on board this year. Another thing I have learnt this year as well is about writing down my goals. Putting them in my notes app.
Yeah.
That's been really powerful for me. One of the goals I wanted to do was I wanted to lose 12 kg and I hit that.
Yeah.
I had a certain amount of holidays I wanted to hit. I hit that. I wanted to take the kids and my missus away at Christmas, the family away at Christmas. I've done that.
Yeah.
So, if you don't write them down, you're not going to be accountable to yourself. It's all good sitting in a room or, choosing a goal.
Yeah,
if it's got no purpose to it and doing nothing with it.
The personal goal, it's so important.
Yeah,
because it's got to align with what your business is doing, because otherwise you are just becoming a busy fool, aren't you?
Yeah.
Stuck in the business. And a couple of things you just said there. One, you were disappointed not to hit your target. But one of the reasons that we have these lofty targets, and I'd advocate this with anyone really who wants to be part of a group or feels a bit lonely, because a estate agency can be lonely, that comes, I think, from the three of us in a WhatsApp group from like 5 years ago. We'll touch on it later. But we're constantly trying to raise the bar.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also with the blueprint, it's. I also find it quite interesting how we're all on that same journey, making the same hires.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But just at different maybe stages. But you can see it all coming. Certainly for me, with the higher end brand which I started. Well, we all did it at the same sort of time, but you guys are a little bit more established with your mid to high end brand. So I was maybe a year or two behind. But I can see the picture. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
you
it
can
does,
see it evolving the busier you get.
It's very important to set a target higher than you think you actually might achieve.
Yeah, it's not a target then, is it?
Exactly, yeah. And if you don't hit it, like if we had only have hit our sort of one level target down last year, it would still have been an amazing result, like it has been for you. But you've got to make sure you're setting something that's higher than you might actually achieve, because that'll keep you pushing. Yeah. And then you'll probably end up doing a very good number.
I think for me, I always see myself in competition with you guys. I know we're good friends, but I'm always like, if you've got a £3.5 million house, I want to sell a £4 million house. Like, it's just my competitive nature.
Yeah, it's good.
Like, it's friendly competition as well. But equally, when you sold that big place this year at like 4.2 or whatever it was, buzzing for you, high fives, all round. But I want to sell one at 4.3. It's just our nature. Yeah, it's just our nature.
I think one of the things, before we come on to Dave's year, one of the things that's so good about TCA and us three is how we share, and how we share in each other's bad times and good times. Yeah. Because as an estate agent, anyone who is an estate agent will know. There are moments when you feel like stopping being an estate agent.
Yeah.
Some weeks you have a horrendous, aren't you? You've really got to have mental strength to keep on going.
Yeah.
These people, but then equally, you have amazing weeks, and be able to share that with
which is the rest of the year for you. Barn conversion, 45 billion, lads.
There was a point this year, and I'll come on to it, but I stood in my office and I went, oh, I just want to go and stack shelves at Asda.
Yeah.
Because I was having such a bad month with fall.
He didn't get the job.
No, I didn't get the job, so I came back to a estate agency. But no, it does. It happens, doesn't it?
Excuse me.
You have these bad times, you have the great times. But I find it so important to have that community. I mean, we, the three of us, like I said, we've been in WhatsApp group and we've known each other for a while now. But I can't tell you how much it helps when you're having a bad time. Just to get that message to say, listen, mate, it's going to be fine. It all swings and roundabouts and stuff like that. It never seemed to happen to him.
No.
Until the end of the year.
Yeah, which is why we doubled down with the sad music on the pod.
Yeah, and that's why me and JK went out for a pint to celebrate.
Yeah, high five. Would you have the high five again? Yeah.
I've had 8 followers. Way! So good.
So Dave, how has your year been?
How has my year been? Well, same theme really. I'm a little bit behind you guys in revenue, but it has been the best we've had. Amazing. So, average fee is high. It's like 14.5 grand now, which, like we talked about 5 years ago, could never have dreamed of that. I mean, I think I've said on the pod before, but I was in a room with agents probably, 6 years ago, something like that, and it was asked, what is your average fee? Do you want to share it? And I was kind of slumping back in my chair, thinking I don't really want to share it.
Yeah.
And my average fee at the time was 3.5 grand, and I did share it, and it was one of the better ones in the room. I was astonished. There were some people not taking. I mean, it's not a brag that. There's a lot, I felt sorry for a lot of people. They weren't even taking salary.
Yes.
Which is an awful place to be. But it was one of the reasons I was in that room was to understand how I can better my marketing, things like that. And then there were 2 or 3 people that said, stupid numbers. I was like, what? Is that even possible? Hence why we went on the journey, and we'll come on to that. But to see myself there now, some years on, and having the best year we've had, it's not been without its challenges, lads, I'll be honest with you. So this year has been not great for fall-throughs.
Yeah, same. I think all round though, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, this is it. This is the one thing that I do like about TCA as well. When you're in that room and there's 25, 30 agents there, and you're sort of talking about your challenges, they're all suffering the same things. I mean, this year it's all been about fickle buyers, higher fall-through rates, unrealistic homeowners with pricing, all that sort of stuff. And you go around the room, it's all the same.
Well, as we joke about it, don't we?
I know what's coming now.
Yeah, I mean, we joke about this, but every area, agents are overvaluing and undercutting on fee.
No.
Yeah. And we do joke about it, that they're doing it in our area as well. So, as a serious point and a bigger picture, it's possible to charge 2%. It's possible to get upfront marketing. It's possible to list houses at the right price and sell them and to beat all your competition. And we've all, us three, and all of our members have all got agents who are overvaluing and underquoting on fee. It's every area. So, picking up on your point, some of the things that get raised are every single area. In fact, maybe they're all every area. Do you know what I mean? Fickle buyers, overvaluing, undercutting on fee.
Well, it's standard, isn't it? It's agency.
Well, it's all the same. It's the same. It's just how you can perform and stand out, isn't it?
I think the key is, I mean, as you know, I've got the lower end brand as well, low to mid range brand, and I've got the higher end brand, and it's only having done that and kind of we had a few team members, a couple of team members, key team members as well leave. And I was kind of more on the front line, if you like. I had to go and value everything on both brands. But it's only then that I really properly saw it. I saw the light, in a way. I'd made this other great brand, but the challenges at the lower end of the market are often so much tougher than they are at the high end. Once you get it right, and once you find that consistency, you are going into valuations with your chest pumped out because you know how good you are. You know how good your marketing is. And especially once you can back it up with results.
Can I just say on that as well? I was just going to say, mate, and when you were talking earlier, is that one of the dangerous traps that people fall into when you talk about fee is that, well, nobody else in that area is doing that. Nobody else in our area is doing this. Well, yeah, exactly. Nobody else in your area is probably going to be doing home styling. Nobody else in your area is going to be doing twilights. Nobody else in your area is going to be doing bespoke marketing and brochures. Nobody else in your area is going to be doing cinematic video.
Exactly.
So when you start thinking about that, you are deserving of an upfront fee. You are deserving of commanding a higher overall fee, but also equally, you got to, one thing I think people really got to grips with in our December mastermind when we were doing the annual planning was the numbers. And it's not just about them knowing their business and identifying opportunities and where they're maybe weak or strong in their business relatively, but also where they're weak or strong in as a business. When you're across the dining table from somebody, trying to win the business, being able to articulate why you are worth more. You've got to be to get 2%. You've got to be worth 2%. And if you don't think you're worth 2%, you're right.
Yeah, that's right.
Such a good point.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to double down on that.
Yeah. You have it's skill set, mindset.
It's a bit of both.
Yeah, you need to be able to. You need to be good enough to charge it.
Yeah,
you have to have it in your mind that you're worth it. You've got to believe it.
Yeah.
And you can even argue that someone who believes that they're worth it and doesn't have the right marketing behind them is more capable of getting 2% than someone who has got the right marketing and doesn't believe.
Well, can I just say, when I was at Countrywide, like 15, nearly 20 years ago now, I was getting 2.5%.
Yeah.
Like fixed, you can argue that the way that we were getting 2.5%, 3% wasn't, the greatest way to do it, i.e., the values that were given and the fixed fee and this, that and the other. But still going, regardless, the baseline fee when you're going out to see people was still minimum 2%.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was me taking photos on basically my granddad's holiday camera.
Yeah.
It wasn't, it was the office camera, but basically that's what it could have been. Drawing a really bad floor plan, putting together, low-level WC, close coupled WC, like how many stickers of architects there were on the ceiling, like on the brochure. But we had offices across the country.
Yeah, you had a reason to believe you were worth 2%.
And that's exactly what I was going to allude to. Is that it was pumped into us.
Yeah, exactly.
You are a 2% agent.
Exactly.
And don't come back to this office without terms signed at 2%.
No, that's right. So that's like going back to Matt, who joined us last year, and Phil, who also does valuations. They both came to work for a company, Stories, who quotes. Our fee is 2% plus VAT, and we charge them for a marketing fee, and they are both going out listing properties on those fees.
Yeah, but your marketing backs it up.
The marketing backs it up, but also you're going to have belief in yourself, haven't you?
You do. Do you know what? I actually think where a lot of the belief comes from is your USP, which is your video. I really believe that. Now, USP. I believe that because obviously people can do video and people are doing video, but people can't do you.
No.
And people really buy into you and your ability to follow through and do what you say you're going to do and how you carry yourself. But I think that if you can build your personal brand within your brand, that's another big thing, you will succeed and you will get the 2% because people will want you. And obviously you want to be able to grow your business and that's why you bring people in. But it starts with that and having that self-belief to, in my opinion, jump on camera and do it and do regular things. I mean, again, we're going to go through the arc a little bit, but it's a combination of marketing ways, isn't it? It's not just one way.
No, and it's consistency.
Yeah.
And when we talk about it being our 100th pod, we've done a podcast every week.
Even when you've been on holiday, I've been on holiday, you've been on holiday, one of us has been ill.
Yeah, there's been a couple where one of us might have missed it, but we've always done a podcast, haven't we? Consistently every week for 100 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And considering how busy we are as well with family and
we've always found a way, haven't we? When we can't do it at our normal time, we do it the evening before.
And that should be the same in your estate agency. When you say we've always found a way, find a way. Because it can be done.
Yeah. So moving on a little bit. So we've all had great years. How have we found the actual market? Because again, people watching, listening to this will be. Some people won't have had great years. Let's be honest. It's been tough, and we speak to a lot of people that haven't and need some inspiration and ideas. But overall, rather than sitting here and just saying, "Oh, it's been a great year," what are the challenges that we face? Because we have faced them, and we always talk about them. But what challenges have you faced this year, JK? What have
I think this year you have to be an estate agent to succeed. And what I mean by that is that you can't be an order taker. The COVID markets of 2020, 21, 22, where it was literally about getting the listing and it, 15 people will inquire and it would sell. You were almost a purveyor of buyers rather than actually an estate agent. Whereas now, it's been, and one of, to give you credit, Dave, from our relationship when we've been working together is really getting into the data has been really, really useful and powerful for both of us, I think, as well. I think you'd say the same thing, that, when you're going out to see somebody, and be able to present the data accurately, confidently, and tell them what the market's doing. Because, as you just said there, we've had a good year. There'll be plenty of agents that sit across the table from a seller. What's the market like? Oh, it's good. Oh, it's bad. Oh, things are still selling. But what does it actually look like? And being able to go, right, well, let's take it back to 2020. Let's show them what the cost for acquisition was back then. No stamp duty, 33% of aggregate inflation to today. Being able to articulate that confidently to ultimately, and I said it on the pod a little while back, that the strategy has almost been, what do we think it should be? Let's get it on at the band below, offers over. And that has been crucial for us for getting a result.
Yeah.
Being consistent with our updates. Sometimes it is awkward when you're ringing people 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row with no viewings and nothing's happening. And the answer isn't always just drop the price.
No.
Because you can't just keep dropping the price.
No.
But just showing them that you're there, showing them you're doing things like collaboration clauses, working with other agents, actively trying to promote it on social media, offering, part of your fee out to other sources. People just want to see you doing something and they want to see what's actually going on. But how we found the market, as we've already, fickle buyers, fall throughs are all-time high for us. But what has been really crucial is not just the buyer management, but the seller management. When you're getting people on board, is setting the expectation early that if you're on at 850 and it doesn't happen at 850, what really drilling into their why and getting on top of the whys at the very beginning, because if it doesn't align with someone that actually really physically needs to move, then maybe they're not the client for you.
So pricing, basically. So if we look at that in isolation, so pricing in 2025 has been tough in the sense that your homeowners are looking at you and thinking that the house price is higher than it should be.
Shock.
No shock, is it? Means in every market you get that, every market. But I think it's probably, I felt it more this year. And you're quite right, with the data that we obviously always preach about, it's been so important to demonstrate what's actually happening. And I think people respect that if you're telling them the truth, but you're also backing it up. Because what you'll find is a lot of your competitors are going out to see the same client, they'll obviously get 2 or 3 valuations, and they'll look at another 4-bed detached home or a barn conversion or whatever it is that's been sold within a mile, and they'll go, well, that barn sold for 1.5 million, yours must be worth 1.5, without any actual process or thought that's gone into it whatsoever. Now, one of the things that I found really powerful is to, like we've touched on there, JK, but if you're going back 5 or 6 years and you're looking at the 2020 market and what it was doing back then, like the average house price then, and how it quickly rose up to the end of 2022, that COVID market, which was an artificial market. And the thing that I've been explaining to people in that period is everybody at that point had 0.1% base rates of interest. There was little or no stamp duty to pay. There was an abundance of buyers looking for houses, and there were not enough houses to satisfy the demand. So naturally, it put upward pressure on prices. Everybody was buying because it was so bloody cheap. But then at the end of 2022, if you remember, interest rates started to go up, and we had 14 in a row, and all of a sudden the market, it was just flat. I mean, there was still people buying, as there are now, but it was flat, pretty much all the way throughout 2023. And then it steadied, and then in most areas it went down a little bit. And if you look at a graph, it's a bit like a roller coaster. Now, where people are going wrong, where agents are going wrong because they're not giving the right advice, and where homeowners are not aware, is that whilst the average house price now in a lot of areas will be similar to what it was in 2021, 2022, like you've just said, it's that cost of acquisition that's higher, so it makes it tougher for the buyer to buy. Another key point in that process, I did one a couple of weeks ago, and they'd paid, I think they paid 850,000 for it in 2022, and he was expecting with inflation his house price to be 950. And what I was saying to him was, it probably at best it's worth 850 to 9 tops, absolute tops. I was like saying, well, where's the 50 grand gone? I said, you paid too much for the house. Don't feel stupid. You work on your own. Guess what? So did I. I paid too much for my house. I'm an estate agent for 20 years. I paid too much for my house in 2022. Not because I got the price wrong, but because 3 other people wanted it.
Yeah,
And I had
you
to.
wanted to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the story behind your purchase? Bit like your why. What happened when you bought? He said straight away, yeah, I remember. There was 3 people after hours. I hadn't sold my property. I went and saw the person on his doorstep and convinced him I was the right buyer. I'm saying, right, so you were that desperate buyer
Yeah.
back in 2021, 22. And he said, well, yeah. I said, right, you've probably paid around 5% too much. So what we need to do is take that off and now look at the inflated price. And that's where you're at. And he's, it's a light bulb moment for him. He gets it. But only with having that historical data would he have got that. And the majority of, well, in fact, all the other agents have gone in and told him close to 1 million, 950, and it's just miles off. He'll just sit there. So A, I don't want it.
No.
And B, he won't get it. So what's the point? We're wasting everybody's time, mine and his. So I've found that it's been a year for that, of really having to delve into the data and really show people more than ever what the house price is actually worth. But equally, quite a few pods ago now, I said that...
Valuation subjective?
Valuation is always subjective, remember that. It's only worth what someone's prepared to pay. But no, I'd said a while ago that when you're doing these seller reviews, you can only deal with the here and now. So what is the price per square foot right now? Or having said that, the land registry is always a lag. So you're looking at maybe data that's 2 or 3 months out of date, and that'd be reflective of offers that were made 3 to 6 months earlier. So we can only go off the data that we've actually got. But what I'd always say to clients is, now we've had the benefit of experience, because you will get challenged. You came round and said, the market suggested it was worth $1 million, Dave, and it's not selling.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, it's not, John. It's always John. All our vendors are called John.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Funny, isn't it?
But it was John. That's what the market suggested at the time. We've now got the benefit of experience.
Yeah.
Your house has been on the market for 3 months. It's clearly not selling at 1 million, so we need to adjust. Let's have a look at what the market's been doing since. Let's have a look at what Rightmove are telling us. And more often than not, Rightmove are telling you that sales are happening, they're up, but it's a very price-sensitive market. It's just that vendors choose to ignore it because they don't want to hear it. So it's how you articulate that
That's
data.
across the market though as well though.
Yeah.
The HPI includes everything from 50 grand flats to 30 million pound mansions.
Yeah.
And we know that, from the whole of the market, people that have got, I think when Sam Hunter came on the podcast, he was saying, I think, what was that, like mid 25, was it this
a few
year?
months ago, yeah.
And he was saying that, even in Australia, the bottom end of the market, people have got just enough money to buy something cheap.
That's right.
So that market is and it's still very much like that now. We're not really involved in it, but we're seeing that people that are interested in stuff that we've got are selling quite quickly up to sort of 300-ish. The average sort of first-time buyer, 2-3 bedroom house seems to be moving pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The people in the middle of the market are the ones that are struggling. They're the ones that had taken a £2,000 mortgage out in 2022 that's now £3,500, and if they want to move, it's going to cost them £5,500, plus everything else with the aggregated inflation is just absolutely killing it. Those mid-markets ones are the ones that are really struggling. But the upper end have got enough money that, they don't really, what did he say? Fuck you money, I think it was called, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw that with the mega one we sold last year. It was on at 3.5 and we sold it for 4.3.
Did you sell it at 4.3? You never mentioned it.
And we had 4 offers, I think, 4 or 5 cash offers.
Yeah.
It was almost like, it doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah.
I want it and I've got all the money in the world. So it just doesn't matter.
Would you say it was subjective valuation?
I really would say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I always say that.
Yeah.
But the stuff in the sort of 500 to a million range.
I'd call that the gold dust. So, yeah. So anyway, it's definitely been a year for pricing, more than ever, I think. Obviously, it's always an issue and a key issue because there's a lot of overinflated house prices, aren't there? Every market that you're in, but more so. And I think one other issue we've seen this year is high fall-through rates, fickle buyers.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all suffered it. I mean, Ian, jokes aside, I know you've had it right at the end of the year. JK, you and I were kind of middle of the year. But there was 1 month where we had like 120 grand's worth of fallers, just like
Same.
gone. Like expecting them to go,
Yeah.
and they're gone.
Yeah.
Just
We
like that.
did have actually in November, I think we had a best pot. We had one at 1.25, one at 1.75, one at I think 650, like all in the space of a day. But, rather than, I think one of the other things, just talking about buyers and management, etc., resilience is just, resilience first of all, but also finding a way. Because sometimes I think you get beaten up by a estate agency, and sometimes you can miss the obvious, or sometimes forget to maybe look around a few corners. And we asked again. We had this chain we had at 1.25 and 1.75. We were just thinking of how do we do this? And at this end of the market, people sometimes have got a jack in the box, if that makes sense. They can pull something out of a bag. And it was because the agent at the bottom, and I think you had this recently, proof of funds checks. This agent, a classic example of cheap agency, not done the deals properly, and the buyer basically couldn't get a mortgage at the last minute because they had only putting down like a £5,000 deposit on a £400,000 house. I mean, who on earth put that? Anyway, by the by. But what we did learn from that scenario at the end was that when we asked the seller of the one that was buying our house, is there anything you can do? And in the end, a family member stepped in and bought it cash.
Yeah.
And then they exchanged a week later. Yeah. And that was a £3 million chain that was just saved by asking the right question.
Yeah, very interesting.
Because everyone was prepared to go back to because it had already fallen through once with that chain.
Right, wow.
And it was going to fall again. But we were doing things like asking the top of the chain, did you want to buy the bottom end of the chain in? We've had it before where we've had a new build at the top, someone buying a £1.3 million house, the bottom end of the chain's been 400 grand. That's fallen through. We've got the developer to PX the house at the bottom and chain break it to bring the chain back together quickly.
One thing we've looked at for last year that we're putting together as we speak is if there's to see if there's any correlation between time to exchange and fall through.
Yeah.
And see, I think our average time to exchange was 10 weeks last year.
Yeah. That's good.
Which is good. It's quicker than the average.
Yeah.
But equally, what we're looking at is the time to fall through, and is there a correlation between how long it took and is there any interventions we can put in place earlier on to try and stop them falling through the same.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It's things like this that cheap agents aren't looking at, and homeowners don't know that, do they? They just do not see this side of it.
Can I just say as well, one thing I have noticed, and I'm trying not to read too much into it, but I feel like if somebody is viewing any house, to be honest, but if you're coming to view a £1 million house, or coming to view a 1.5, or maybe it's even 600-700 grand, if you can't turn up to a viewing on time,
Right, you're going to get some great advice then. You're just having a whinge.
but honestly, like if you're choosing where you're going to live for the next 5, 10, 15 years of your life, and you can't turn up on time to that appointment, what to me, that speaks volumes of how that transaction is possibly. I mean, look,
potentially,
life happens sometimes. But it's how. So, for example, what I mean by that, sorry, just quickly, is that if somebody rings and says, "I'm really sorry, I'm going to be 2 minutes late," cool. Someone just turns up nonchalant.
I think one of the things for me, the way I read it slightly differently, which is the time it takes once they have agreed the offer to fill out the proof of funds form. That bit,
insane.
Oh my God. When it takes forever, I think this is going to be an absolute nightmare. And you get some buyers who are just on it, don't you? Immediately. No, they're going to be a good buyer. And normally that is borne out by how long it takes. Normally.
I mean, again, so that's another frustration this year. It's been, we've talked about pricing, fall through rates have been high. Conveyancing times. So bloody frustrating. And again, being part of the network, it's the same.
It's the same for everyone.
Exactly the same.
Because we've all got solicitors in chains that we can't influence, haven't we?
That's the problem.
Like they're not raising searches until they've got the. They're not raising inquiries until they've got the searches back quite often. Wasting weeks and weeks. One thing we've drilled into clients more so at the end of the year was in our client handbook. We're trying to drill into people to set up with a solicitor when they put it on the market, fill out all the paperwork. Because we've had so many that have taken 2 weeks longer than they should have done because the bloody draft contract wasn't sent out for like 2 or 3 weeks. That's so frustrating. And as we all know, the longer they take, the more likelihood they are of falling through. So things like that, we're trying to put in place this year to prevent as many fall throughs happening.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely been a challenge, and it's one that's, like you say, when you've got big chains, it's hard to overcome. I think that obviously we all agree that the conveyancing process needs a big reform. Other countries seem to be miles ahead of us, miles ahead. But just talking about all this, guys, I was thinking just then, fall throughs happen. It's tough when they do, and we've all been in a place where we used to do very, very low fixed fees and low percentage fees, and maybe only selling low end of the market. And in a time where the market is quiet, or there are challenges like that, cash flow can become a real problem. So I'm not going to sit here and start preaching and bragging about what a great position we're in. That's not what it's about. But presumably, if people are listening to this podcast, they're interested in the sort of mid to higher end market and wondering how they can improve their fortunes and fees and all that sort of stuff. And I promise you, it is definitely achievable if you put the right steps in place. But all jokes aside, the reason we can joke occasionally, and even though we get really frustrated, and we all have our cash flow challenges as well.
Yeah.
When you're operating at the mid to high end of the market, it's such a better place to be, because even if you only exchange on one in a month, more often than not, it's enough to do what you need to do.
I was thinking this week actually. We've not had any big fees for probably 4 weeks complete.
4 weeks, he said. They've had no big weeks for 4 weeks.
But when you've got a team of 8 people to pay out every month,
Yes.
The costs are high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My point was going to be that we have had a couple of 10 granders drop in the last week.
So again,
I know it's relative.
You're right. Well, you're right.
But for us, that's not necessarily a very high fee.
Yeah.
But because of where we've managed to get the business to, like you two have, if your lower end fees are 10, suddenly things can turn quite quickly in the bank account, and you think, God, everything's okay again now,
Again, jokes aside, we often do it now in the office, and the team have become that ingrained with it. They get it. They're all in the same mindset.
Yeah.
When I come back with a fee and it's 2% and it's $9,000 or something like that, they're like, oh.
Yeah.
Funny, yeah.
And it used to be 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. Our average fee on the lower end was 3.5. So it's just but again, testament to the team. You've got to have the right bums on the right seats. They've all bought into it.
Yeah.
They all get it. They absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And that's their mindset. Like, oh, right, okay.
Can I just say on that as well, one exercise that we did in 2025 that was 2025 that was really powerful was the cost to sell a house.
Yeah.
And that was overall expenses divided by the amount of units that we'd sold and completed on in 2024. Went round the table, and it really kind of focuses the mind. And that's your acquisition costs, your sale costs, everything. And that includes how much it costs to get that lead, deal with it, market it. Includes all the ones that come on the market that fall by the wayside as well.
Yeah. Office rent.
That's it, exactly. And if you know that it costs you a certain amount, if you know that your average fee is X, you might be thinking, there's a few light bulbs that went off in the room in a December mastermind when I actually started digging into the data.
Yeah, there was.
You think, why would I sell a 300 grand house at 1%?
Yeah.
You just wouldn't do it, would you?
No. And it's getting your team to buy into it, like you say.
100%. So I think that's pretty much the year in review, lads. As I say, I think overall from a sort of operational point of view, it's been successful for us all. I think it's fair to say we've all had our challenges, and we've all had some different things going on, but overall it's been good. The market has been tougher, there's no question about that. But my honest view is, I think obviously we're going to move forward now, but if anybody's thinking about jumping from low end to mid to high, and they've been thinking about it for a while, because I was, you know me, you two are very, very impulsive and get things done. I do overthink sometimes, and it took me a while to actually get going, but oh my God, once you do and you realise and you follow the blueprint and stuff, it's just such a better place and a safer place to be.
Yeah, and I would urge you to do it whether you have any competition doing it currently or not. What I mean by that is when we started Stories and we targeted them at higher end with amazing marketing, there was no one around us doing it, which was brilliant because we were like first to market with it. So we really, really stood out. But even now, where other agents are trying to copy us, some blatantly, you would not believe, one in particular, just blatantly copying us, we have still had an amazing year. So this particular agent, obviously mentioning no names, has now been copying us for probably 18 months. They can only copy what they can see on the outside. They can't copy the team and how it's led, but they copy what they see on the outside. And that probably about 18 months ago, they started doing that, and we've had our best year. We had our best year ever in 2025.
There you go.
So even if there's competition doing it now, you can still do it better because the chances are they're not consistent, and there's definitely room for more than one or two players doing it if you do it properly.
That's interesting, because of our conversation yesterday, in the beginning about setting up. There's no market for it.
That's right.
In this area.
This particular agent said to me 6 years ago, don't start a new estate agency in because there's no space for one locally.
Wow.
how wrong they were. But my point is, don't let anyone put you off. Go for it and do it. You can do it whether there's no one doing it or whether there is people already.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be if you can get it right.
I just think, we're now talking about the end of 2025. If you've not done anything about it, if the 2025 has not been your year and you've struggled and you're going into 2026 maybe a little bit worried, or it's been a good year and you just want to improve on it, don't wait, honestly. I've been there, and it's just there's so much you can do, and you can probably implement quickly.
Yeah.
What's that Chinese phrase?
I don't know. I'm from Bolton.
Well, it's not a restaurant that you would frequent.
You do the Chinese food, though, don't you?
Yeah, he does. He does love
I don't
Oriental
mind
food.
Chinese food. It's just
As long as it's raw and
me
watery, Dave's in.
We went for a meal. At Ivy Asia last week, and it was about 30 minutes before I ate anything warm. Ridiculous. I don't
We
understand.
went to a Japanese in Milton Keynes, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
With Rich.
To be fair, that was horrendous.
Yeah.
It was horrendous. It was like a bowl of.
it's like a running joke now.
Watery chicken. It was weird.
But anyway,
loose bits of lentils in it and stuff. Don't go there.
Raw chicken. The chicken was still clucking.
It was something like that. Just moving it around with a wooden spoon.
But,
Shocking. Honestly.
but the point was, the saying is, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
Yeah, it's now. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
and as honestly, having done it, I mean, I know we're all passionate about it, but I just feel like because of the journey I had to go on as well with the brand split, it can be done, and it can be done reasonably quick.
Yeah.
You just need the right guidance and
Right support and the right accountability.
and the mindset to just go out and do it.
Certainly, we all need that, don't we?
Yeah.
I think everyone does, really, unless you're some sort of superhuman. To have accountability keeps you moving every month and keeps you up in your game and keeps you implementing.
You texted me a couple of days ago about an issue I'm having and said, "When are you going to do it?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah,
You need
right.
that.
Yeah, I need it. Of course, I
Yeah.
do it. I
Do
need
need
it.
it,
I need
yeah.
it. Yeah,
We all do.
it's absolutely right.
We all
That's the great thing about having each other, is that we hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the group.
Yeah.
You know, on our TCA, the private WhatsApp group that we have.
Yeah.
It's because they're non-compete. It's brilliant how they all.
How they interact.
You know how they interact and because of the quality masterminds, they have a few beers and
Yeah, and do you know
they're
what?
sort of
The breakout
friends as
sessions.
well, aren't they?
Yeah, the breakout sessions. So, and Michelle, who's more heavily involved now,
Yeah.
she got everybody in groups, and we were sort of rotating the rooms. But it's great to listen to the conversations.
Yeah.
And a couple of them were coming away and said, I've just spoken to somebody and I've got some great advice there. Or they're suffering that challenge, or it's fabulous. It's a safe
We've got a
space
really
to be
good
in.
group.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
really
just think the people that are there are all really good people as well. Like
Yeah.
they're great agents. Not only are they great agents, but they are just good people.
Yeah.
We've been out for drinks and stuff afterwards and something to eat,
Yeah.
and it's just it feels like we're in a room full of friends.
Yeah,
at
it does,
times.
I agree, yeah.
And it's always nice to see people. And always, what I get a buzz from is when we've had like video testimonials sent to us, like from members that were struggling with, valuations are going out to the high end. Now they're out and they're absolutely bossing it. They're doing videos. They're doing great presenter-led videos. Overcome. That gives me a real buzz to know that.
Yeah, do you know what's just a point that's just come to my head? If anybody listens to this and thinks that we're all heavily like data analysts, it's just not true, is it? We just use it to a certain way.
We certainly aren't.
I know, I'm probably a bit more, but
Yeah.
it's more, what I would say is, I think people are scared of numbers, and they are really, really important for what we do. And there's 2 or 3 members that I can think off the top of my head who were really overwhelmed initially at that, and 12 months on, it's just completely second nature to them, and it has completely also changed their process and
it has.
success and fortunes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they would testify to that as well, because it's just been a game
I
changer.
think that's the difference of what we offer without turning this into an advert, is that it's not just the marketing, it's not just the how-to, it's the estate agency bit as well.
The implementation.
Yeah,
doing it every day.
And that's the thing, that's one thing we can do. And I like to say walk the talk, isn't it, Dave? Is what I like to say.
Can you still... Is that right?
Have you got any more Chinese proverbs to follow?
We've got some Chinese food.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday you couldn't get that out, so... Yeah, it's that, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good. Right, anyway, so 2025, we've talked about that. Good years, challenging market, without question. First of all, 2026, what we're expecting. So we've had I think now the biggest problem of the year, which was the budget, which was announced, particularly operating in the mid to high end market, I think there was a lot of uncertainty. I don't know about you lads, but I've done loads of valuations purely and simply based on what ifs. People might not do anything straight away, might be waiting a couple of years, whatever it might be. Lots of people going to Dubai and finding things like that. But just not happy, not just happy with the government in general, all that sort of stuff. So the budget came and it went. It was a bit of a washout.
But the budget's come and gone every time it's ever happened for me. The only difference was in the 2008 crash when things, obviously, we all know what happened then. But every other budget I've ever been through, it's come and gone.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you just adjust to anything that happens and you carry on.
Do you know the biggest problem was this time, though, is there was so many political scandals. They pushed it back so far. They leaked so much out. There was so many different... What?
We were playing footsie under the table.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm feeling left out here because...
Well, you're a bit short, aren't you?
My bit.
And then you've got... Anyway,
let's move this
back
on.
to housing.
So we had an interest rate cut in December, which is really going to help us with...
Do we know that?
Huh?
We've already given away that this is being filmed just before the interest rate.
Are we? Oh, okay.
We're expecting that.
Should we just film 3 different versions?
Yeah, maybe.
So it hasn't been cut. It stayed the same.
Right. But just going back to your point about the budget, so it came and went. And it's like any major event. People still need to move for the same reasons. So, the market's just the market.
What I think is you don't meet many people who are moving speculatively, do you?
Not in this market.
Not many.
In the COVID market, you
different, but in a normal market, which
everyone's got a why,
speculatively. They've got a why: upsize, downsize, death, divorce, relocate. And the main ones, aren't they?
Pretty much it,
And that will never ever. Probably will never ever stop happening, will it?
No.
Because you can't extend, or you don't want to live on a road, or you're not near enough to your office, or you've had another kid, or whatever the reason is. That will never change.
No.
So you've got to. In fact, I was on a call with a client this morning who was saying, I was saying to her that since I first came to see you a year ago, the market in Tarpley has dropped by something like 6%, 5 or 6% for detached houses, which she didn't know that. The other agent hadn't told her that. And she was saying, well, why don't I hold off 3 months and see?
So it drops more, 6% more.
Exactly what I said, She's also buying on locally, so it's relative, if it falls, everything falls. So I think it's communicating that stuff to people and getting them onto the market as soon as you can. Because if they want to move, they want to move. You can't wait, can you, for anything.
No.
And it's just dealing with it, whatever's happening in the current market and communicating that to people properly so you can get them onto the market. Vicky quite often says, jokingly, Vicky's part of our team, she laughs and she'll say, God, if you have Ian out to value your house, he'll have you on the market in the next 2 weeks. Because if you can communicate things properly, then you can tell people what they need to hear. And if they need to move house, get the marketing looking amazing, get it on at the right price.
Let's get moving.
And you'll probably sell it and move.
Yeah.
Whatever the market's doing.
Yeah, but I mean, like I say, it came and went, didn't it? I mean, any major announcement, whatever it might be, whether it's a government change, whether it's a budget, there's always a lull leading up to it because it's just mindset. Because people always think, I'll just wait and see what happens with the budget. And then the problem is, it becomes a problem, a magnified problem, because when houses are not selling, guess what? Agents say it's the budget.
And those people would have been better. Some of those people would have been better putting their house on the market in the run-up to the budget, because others weren't, were they?
Yeah.
Ironically.
There's no question it did cause a lull. All the stats show that, a lull. And now that we're into the Christmas period, I keep referring to the fact that we're
now that we're past the Christmas period.
Now that we're past the Christmas period. But then you have the Christmas period straight after it. And, if we have had the interest rate drop, which we're all expecting at the time that this podcast is going out, then I honestly think that the first quarter of 2026 is going to be busy.
Well, can I just say, I mean, you said this morning you'd had what, 3 already?
3 listings.
3 listings already. We've had 2 this morning that have gone ahead. There's like at least 4 that we've had sign up since the budget announcement as well. So, and we're talking about peak December here, where people are supposedly
Christmas.
getting their Christmas heads on.
Rushed
around to get people ready for, without Christmas trees up in details and stuff. We've got stuff going on in January where we're going to go there and do the internals after the Christmas trees are down, etc. So I genuinely think that Q1 will be busy, and I think it will be busy because it will be people that held off, wanted to see what's happening. There was a lot of speculation. Certainly, I think what might be interesting at the upper end of the market with the mansion tax is... people that are, look, it was a nothing tax, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I do think it might spur people to go, maybe there might be more for us in future budgets. Let's move. If you're Ethel and you've been in the house for 45 years and it's now 2 million, now might be the time to downsize. I think that might just give them a little shove to get on with it. But also equally, those people I think were holding off. I think you had a client that said, look, if CGT comes in, Ian, it's going to cost me another 200-300 grand. It's not going to be worth me moving.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I think those people that were holding off, I think, will come back to the market.
I agree, and a lot of them won't have done that just before Christmas because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
So I think you'll now, we were advising people pre-Christmas like you were to do the marketing now before the Christmas tree goes up, get it on. But some people won't have actually quick enough with that, will they? And they'll have to now do it in January. Yeah. Which is
they
fine.
won't want to do it either. That's the other thing. When you get to that end of the market, and then won't go down that rabbit hole, but you meet different people. When you're generally dealing up to sort of the lower to mid market, you generally meet the same people all the time. Yeah. Whereas a different dynamic of buyer you meet at the upper end of the market, like prime and super prime markets. You're dealing with high level CEOs. You're dealing with people at private schools. You're dealing with there's a whole new layer of characters to unlock that you have to understand their lifestyle and work around their needs and understand that pushing them to put their house on the market at the end of November when they've got 4 weeks of skiing booked in December,
they won't want to.
It's not going to happen.
No,
you're going
to
to
know
turn
what?
them off.
I had a client last couple of weeks talking about skiing, just anecdotally, and it's the first time I've had this. She said, she rang me. Did I send you a photograph? I can't remember. Basically, she's got an amazing house. She's probably about an hour and 15 minutes away from us. Yeah. And she said, I follow you on social. Would you consider selling it? I said, can you send me a photograph? She did. I said, yes, definitely. It's mega. And she said, we're back in April. We're going away before Christmas. We're back in April. I said, oh, lovely. Where are you going? We winter in our ski chalet near Val d'Isère from December till April. So they ski for 4 months, of course, and they're back in April, and I want to go and see her and put it on the market for her. But I thought, that's amazing. Those sort of clients at this level, there's loads of them.
I've got one client that's a Swiss national.
Okay.
And they're like, we'll probably go away for Christmas, and then we'll instruct you when we're back in sort of February time.
So,
in the new year.
So you pushing them as a salesy estate agent to get them on the market now, he would turn off.
Yeah.
And you'll go to someone else, won't he?
Yeah, 100%.
But you've just touched on something there that I think is really important that leads on to what we're going to do next, is the type of clients you're dealing with at the mid to high end. I mean, that is something else that's been an eye opener for me over the last 2 or 3 years, because whether it's sports people, whether it's high level executive people off TV,
wealth managers,
the network is tremendous, and the exponential growth of that is tremendous as well. You just deal with some great people.
Yeah, you do.
I think you tend to, dare I say it, there's less drama.
Yeah.
At the top end.
More business headed.
Yeah.
It's more of a business transaction, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is still emotion involved because it's normally a family home and you've got to deal with them in the correct way. But it is definitely more of a business transaction than it is at the lower end.
Can I just say on that as well, is that you say transaction, it makes them sound like a transactional client, because they're definitely not.
No.
Yes.
They're a relational client.
Yeah.
But what they do is they get it.
Yeah.
They understand the level of detail that you're going to, which is why attention to detail is so important at the upper end, and why you are effectively a project manager.
Yeah.
The marketing is one part of it, but it is project management of getting them from where they are. So we've dealt with footballers that have moved to Saudi Arabia. We've dealt with celebrity. I mean, that is one thing I would say is quite cool about our job, is that if we were selling 2-bed terraces,
it's not quite as
you
fun,
wouldn't get to meet like.
No, it's.
I mean, and then the thing is, it's very important that you're not like, oh hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's
like,
the thing. You've got to come across with authority.
Of course you have, yeah.
And they respect that.
But it's nice to know you've got such and such in your phone, and like you've got in good terms with them, and this, that, and the other.
My favourite ones, we're sidetracking here, but my favourite ones are quite often entrepreneurial people who've built it from scratch, from nowhere, and they've got several different business interests. And I love sitting and talking to them and finding out where they came from and what mistakes they made. And they're so good to chat things through. And the fee is just not an issue.
Yes, I was just about to say.
It's hardly. I mean, you get the odd one.
Of course you do. Yeah, but
you always will. But you get the odd one at 100 grand, don't you? Terraces. But the fee is hardly ever an issue. I mean, it's just, they don't even question.
I'll tell a quick story about one of mine this year. So, as you know, I've been valuing both brands, and we try and filter out as much as we can, but there's always one or two that slip through the net. And when I say that, I don't mean it derogatory, but ultimately, the very low end of the market just doesn't work. It don't fit. It's a waste of my time, if I'm honest. They don't pay as well, and people don't want to pay. And I'd just been to a house at 1.5 million. I did 2 hours there. It was a brilliant appointment. She was already on the market with another agent. Loved what we do. Followed us on socials for a while. Went through everything. We were double the fee, so it was 2%. We were charging £500 plus VAT at the time up front. And she was like, yeah, brilliant, no problem. Signed there and then, so it was all done. And then my next appointment was on the other brand, and I had to drive another 45 minutes to the other side of town. And I got there, and it was a 2-bed terrace. And I spent probably an hour there. If I'm dead honest, my heart wasn't in it. I spent an hour there, did my job, and at the end of it all, I said, look, we do have a minimum fee threshold here, which would be 4,000. And he said, oh, such a body will do it for 1,250. I went, see you later. You know, an absolute waste of my time that was. But genuinely, complete and utter waste of my time.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's such a much better place to be.
Yeah.
And the fees are, the objections, if you are good, if you have demonstrated you're good, and I always say build your personal brand within your brand, and you've shown what you're made of, you're sending great content to them regularly, so they know your style. Obviously, you're a good agent when you do what you do, but then your marketing's as it should be. There's much less rejection and there's much less friction.
I think you want to become known as being an expensive agent.
Yeah.
Like, we're not expensive, are we? We're actually cheap.
Value.
Yeah, I don't like the word cheap or expensive. We're
Good value.
But, you know, we are actually cheaper than a cheap agent.
Well, you end up with more money.
You end up with more money in your pocket. But the point is, you need to become known for being an expensive agent. And a lot of agents take a long time. I took a long time. I took 15 years to realise that. But if you become known as an expensive agent, before you go in the door, they're expecting you to be more, aren't they? And they've still called you in.
Yeah. We had one last week. I had one at 1.5 million last week. And he said to me, I was saying to you, JK, before, he said to me, okay, I love what you're doing here, Dave. I like it all. I've seen what you do. It's not going to be 1.5%, is it? So come on, tell to me how much it's going to cost me.
Yeah.
And he's already made the decision in his head that he's going to use us.
Yeah.
I told him it's 2% plus VAT. We do a 750 plus VAT up front.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, but this guy's a 1.5 million pound house. He's a businessman. He's got multiple businesses. It's just not crossed his mind to think I need to hammer him down on fee.
No.
He just needs to go and get me a good result. I had somebody quibbling this year over my fee.
Yeah.
And I literally said to him, if I get you 3 million for your house, are you gonna begrudge me taking my 2% fee? Really? Yeah. And eventually he pulled back and said, no, I'm not. But I've got to try. It's my nature.
Yeah.
He's a businessman. He's in sales. And I tend to find that there is much less friction at the top. And another quick one I had, probably my biggest success story this year, was I have a high value home with a high value, high net worth client, and we'd already agreed our fee and everything, and we presented the offer to him, and the offer was acceptable. And I already had an offer previously to that where the buyer had pulled out, so I knew it was acceptable. And I went to him, gave him the offer, and he said, yeah, of course, I'll take it. But I'll tell you what, David, anything you get over that amount now, I'll split with you 50-50. And we got another 75,000.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd want to do that anyway. But my point is the mindset.
Yeah.
Of that client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't get it at the lower end. So
No.
I can't stress enough that if you've never done this and you feel like you might lack something doing it, you don't. It's there. It's there for anybody who wants to. Which leads us into the complete agent. So we wanted to talk a little bit about going back in time. So this is our 100th episode, which we're really proud of.
This is a 3-hour special, by the way.
Obviously,
How long have we been going? 1 hour.
1 hour, right. You know, I met these two legends however many years ago. It started as a WhatsApp group, didn't it, lads?
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
Where we supported each other on the journey. And it's evolved into what it is today. I think we're all quite proud of how far we've come, and we help each other like we've talked about. And we are we 2 full years into the complete agent, really?
Yeah.
But it's evolving a lot more than it ever has. And you know, we've created this ARC process now, which is our blueprint to getting agents from perhaps where they are selling low to mid-range homes and suffering, and I say that word, I don't take it lightly, suffering from low average fees, because again, we have all been there. And I would say we've been the worst end of that on low fixed fees and high volume and losing money and things like that to where we are today. We worked out yesterday, the three of us between us, it's an average fee of £15,000 on every transaction.
Yeah.
It's such a much better place to be. And we are genuinely passionate about passing this on to other people. I think in the past, we've all had people contact us privately and ask different questions about what we would do in certain situations. And a few years ago, we decided to make this an extension of what we already do and help people with their marketing, their processes, give them a full review of how they look and how we can help them come on this journey with us. And what we've got today, 2 years on, lads, with some fantastic members. We've got a really great core group. Like I said, I'm proud of us for doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm also proud of the members.
Yeah.
How far they've come over the last couple of years. Certainly the ones that have been there from the beginning. And we've taken on some new ones this year. And we want to take on more because we know we can help.
Yeah.
And so if 2025 has not been your year, or it has been your year, and you just want to see what else is out there, I promise you, this is a great option for people. And I think, JK, you alluded to it before, but one thing I would say about this, the Complete Agent, it's three lads here. We're doing it every single day. We're on the ground being estate agents, suffering the same challenges a lot of people. We're not just preaching from
Different
the
parts
ivory
of the
tower.
country as well.
Yeah, different parts of the country. We're not just talking about what you can and should be doing, but not actually doing it day to day. We're in the trenches with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the massive benefits
Yeah.
of the Complete Agent. So we just wanted to briefly run through, I think, some of our processes.
Yeah.
And we won't spend too much time on this. I'm sure you know a lot about it anyway. But we'd really like to get more people involved, I think, in 2026. And,
Yeah.
So where do you want to start again?
Yeah, I mean, the ARC process that we put together is, ARC, and it's split into 3 sections. So we have attract, results, and close. And we won't go through every single element because it wouldn't be fair on members anyway, would it? But we can touch on a couple of bits, can't we?
Yeah.
So it all starts with brand and positioning, doesn't it?
It does.
How you look. I mean, you're the biggest advocate of this.
Yeah, we've probably done that to death, haven't we?
Yeah.
More recently, but it's so important. I mean, the reason I'm quite passionate about this is because that was one of the main stages I had to go through. I mean, you two guys, in my opinion, already had great brands. I remember having a conversation with you, Ian, actually. I think we were talking at one stage, maybe tentatively, are you going to brand split? Are you going to change something?
Yeah.
And when I met you, I was like, are you joking?
Yeah, you
I
did,
look at you from outside looking in going, your brand's amazing. And obviously you've stretched the brand better than anyone, I think, in the country. I really believe that. JK, you considered brand split, I think. But you've got, again, me outside looking in, you've got a great brand. And I know you've just started to rebrand it, but amazing. For myself, I didn't have that. I had what I consider to look low end.
Yeah.
And actually, what it led to was me completely drawing a line and saying, no, it's a nice brand, it works. And it works for a certain market, but it's never ever going to get me to 15 grand average fees.
No, you need to, if you want to, and you're serious about selling the right level of mid to higher end, the first thing you need to do before anything else is look at how you look.
You brand audit.
You brand audit. So is your existing brand able to sell higher end homes or not? If it's not, keep it and start another one. Or you could even think about, keeping it and starting with the one and eventually getting rid of your lower end brand and just having a one that can stretch.
100%.
If you really want to do it on hard mode.
What do you mean?
That's what I did. I was doing low end stuff. And I started the business at 999 plus VAT.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
no sale, no fee.
JK has definitely had the hardest route from all of it because I just started a brand new company. You've started a new brand. Yeah. You've definitely had that, and you've made it work.
Yeah, it's been tough. There's loads of challenges.
What would you have, while we're talking about this then, what would you have, is there anything you would have done
If I'd done my
differently?
time again, I would have probably just locked that off and started again, something different.
Okay.
Knowing what I know now with the benefit of experience, because just think it would have been easier. I mean, the name was okay.
Yeah.
The name was, which is what was key.
I don't like the name of your brand.
Not good. It's not Chinese enough for you. Excuse me. But yeah, the name was okay. If I was called like 123 Fast Move or something like that, then it's only ever going to be what it is, or Relocate or something like that.
Yeah.
It's,
Fair. No, it's genuinely fair.
I only say that because he says it all the time.
No, it's fair.
But
100%.
The name was okay. But I think what it happens is because with an ADHD brain that I've got, I'm always changing things, and it just happened naturally and evolved. I went from 999 no sale no fee, changed my logo about 3 times in 3 years. Yeah. That's constantly just always trying to improve and evolve. And if I was doing it again, I probably would have just gone, look, all right, we'll chop
Since
down
you say
there.
that, do you know what, if I was doing it again, the other one wouldn't exist.
The lower end.
Yeah, won't exist.
If I was doing
a
it,
well-established brand, it's good. It's still, it brings in money, it churns, but it's not. It's got a good lettings brand with it. But if I was doing it again, yeah, absolutely.
I think one of the reasons we can help people within TCA is because of that trial and error that we've been through.
Yeah.
Because definitely one of the things that I would do is I would be even more selective than I was from the start. We were selective, turning away stuff, pissing people off because we wouldn't sell the house.
Just add a bit of clarity to that. You mean selective on type of houses?
Selective on the type of house we were listing, and a more classy brand, because we started with Story Estates.
Which is okay, by the way.
Yeah, it is okay, but it took me too long to realise that wasn't quite right, and we changed it to Stories, made it a darker green. We tweaked the brand about 18 months in, I think, and I wish I'd done that quicker. So there's definitely things that I would change if I could take.
But you work with a designer to do that. And the thing is, the benefit of what we're doing is again, Dave talks about it on valuations, but in business, you're getting the benefit of our experience in that, we've made mistakes, and if I had access to us three where I was 10 years ago, you just gone like that straight away. I could have cut out.
Jokes aside, that's kind of where we've been on this journey in the last sort of 5 years. Because I went looking for something different, met lots and lots of people, but I gravitated towards you guys for because of your mentality and the way you look as a brand. Yes, not as a person.
Why did you point at me first?
He did,
didn't he?
Yeah.
No,
Not sure about this one.
I'm going to eat you first.
Not sure about this one.
You don't need to explain.
But I know people get it. You get it. But no, it helps. Yeah, it does. It does help.
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
I think what we should do, lads, is sort of just touch on them without going into too much detail on them.
Yes. Yeah.
Time. So within our Attract process, we talk about our pre-launch and social media strategy, which we all have for every home that we sell, because that's about, obviously, it's not just about attracting sellers to your brand, it's about attracting buyers to your houses.
And also increasing your brand exposure. The pre-launch strategy is probably... It's up there. It's very close to being number one in terms of
interesting.
Bringing in more clients and increasing your personal brand within your brand.
And we were talking our members how we through that in detail, weren't we? The last mastermind.
Yeah.
We talk about community presence. So how are you within the local community? What do you do to get your name out there? Charity events, local interviews, 12 days of Christmas, that sort of thing. We talk about direct mail and our outbound marketing. Obviously, part of that is what we offer to our members.
That's one of our biggest parts of, we help people get through the doors of high-end homes.
Yeah.
And we've done this a long time now. Mm-hmm. We've been sending a lot of direct mail. We know what works, and we know what captures the attention of high-end homeowners to get a response.
We do, and something else that I was discussing with a member at the last mastermind, which he didn't know, was that we send to homes that another estate agent also sends quarterly market updates to. That's in a different group of agents.
Yeah.
We send to the same homes and we get results.
Yeah.
And when I told the member this, he was like, "Oh God, really?" So you can still do it.
Yeah.
Don't let that be an excuse. But the key with that, of course, is consistency every month, every quarter, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything's consistency.
Direct mail's massive. I think that, again, the quality of the direct mail that's going out, I always say that I've heard different arguments for left brain, right brain, what the type of seller that you send it to. You've got to make it resonate with a multiple audience. I don't agree with that. I really don't. I believe that the person that you are selling to or selling for wants to know that you are in the best position. So they want to know that you know it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they know it.
No.
So if you're going in and they get bamboozled by stats, they almost want don't worry about it, John.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that's what it needs to resonate, who it needs to resonate with.
Does. And then we asked all of our members to mark themselves, didn't we, on each section, so we can see how we can help. But the last section was database and nurture. So how are you nurturing clients who you've been to that aren't on the market yet? Of course, you're doing that anyway with your quarterly and monthly, market updates and your 6 weekly on-market updates if they're on the market already. And then if you're doing a video market update, which you should be doing every 6 weeks, that can go out to your entire database as well. And how are you keeping in touch with hot buyers that are looking to buy?
Off-market deals.
Off-market deals.
If you're just going through it again, something that really sticks out to me is the things that we've implemented there, we've all added something, a piece of the
yeah.
jigsaw.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, you were, I think, the king of community. I did all the like the pre-launch.
Yeah.
There's the direct mail, things like that. We've all brought something different.
And we're all learning all the time, aren't we? So even
it gets added to.
It gets added to.
Yeah.
So we had an amazing year, 2025, but I came away from the Christmas mastermind thinking, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, I need to implement this and this. Like, you're still adding.
Anything tech.
Anything
JK.
tech,
JK,
Aidan.
how do I do this, JK?
Oh, Aidan, yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on to the second step of our ARC process is results.
Yeah.
So we talk about valuations and conversions, don't we? And
Massive.
You know,
Yeah.
massive, and it's such an eye-opener for so many members as to how we do things differently, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, there's I think you've always got to get your own style. There's that. But in terms of preparing for a valuation, becoming analytical and presenting the data and articulating it, that we teach that. I think it's one of our strongest points, lads, to be
Well, I
honest.
think that's one of the. I mean, that has been a reason a few members have specifically joined TCA for our valuation process.
Yeah.
It is like no one else's.
Yeah, you've got to be good in the living room, and that's a big part of it.
And that should be taught in agency, by the way.
Yeah, well, it should be part
That
of
should
it.
be the standard.
Of course.
But it is next level. That alone will up your conversion rate.
Yeah.
And then once you've got them on the market, it's how do you keep them happy until they sell, so they don't move from you to another agent. We call it client communication, which is probably quite a good title. We don't really lose any clients to other agents. I know you two are the same. You know, you might get the odd one throughout the year, but on the whole, we don't lose anyone to other agents.
Again, a lot of that as well comes from being analytical.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they know. If you constantly having conversations, or they're ringing you because you've not rang them, what's happening with my property sale? Why am I not getting any viewings? And you say, oh, the budget, the market's quiet.
Yeah.
Then they'll just think, do you know what? Somebody else is telling me something different.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're articulating the data, say, right, this is what's happening in your area, this is what the stats are showing us, the prices are coming down, you don't want to wait too long, because if you wait, then the market's coming down, you might miss the boat, whatever it might be. Again, a lot of that comes from being analytical, and it's not as daunting or as difficult as you think if you're not a data-led person.
Yeah, that's true. Then the next element we were discussing was our viewing strategy. So we always hold off and block viewings together. I know you two do as well. And then we do that moving forward. But it's also about things like having a team of viewing specialists, isn't it? Which frees you up.
Yeah.
And that was a light bulb moment for a lot of members.
Just touching on that again, I think a lot of people don't know how to progress their team and sit still.
Yeah.
And I touched on it before, but I'm sort of where I am. I look at it and go, I think at the end of this year I will have, and I can see them in your companies, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And that's where a lot of our members are at. You know, they've got really good brands, really good businesses, but they might not have the right bums on the right seats, or they might have holes that they need to fill. So that's another way we can help them, because we've implemented it. And even self-employed agents, you know, we can help there. How do you get out of the grind? You know, at the end of the day, the majority of people that we're talking to here are going to be wanting to list, aren't they? List houses, negotiate and sell. Simple as that. And you need to try and free yourself up to be doing that, because that's what you're the best at.
You do. And by employing viewing specialists, you can offer viewing 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Honestly, offer it 7 days a week. So many agents say they'll do all the viewings and they never do, because they haven't got the team to do it. So you can offer them 7 days a week. You can offer them in the evenings, in the lighter months.
Yeah, but Ian, I'm the best at viewings.
Of course you are, John. Let's talk about that. And then, so we had our viewing specialist team at our Christmas do before Christmas. You know, include them in your team.
Yeah.
Even though they're self-employed, only do a few hours a week, because they all buy into the brand.
Yeah.
You know, all that sort of stuff. We talk about market positioning, didn't we, and where you sit in the market. So doing your homework on comparables, anything planning permission related to the house, all that sort of stuff. I suppose that all goes into the val.
Things like staging and styling as well.
Yeah.
They're really important. You know, we'd obviously done the things like the staging guide as well now. You know, we've got lots of marketing materials and tools to help people, you know, when they're through the door, articulate what it is they're going to do. And obviously, you know, with other things that we're doing behind the scenes with TCA, is really going to help our members and their teams supercharge what they're looking to do. I know I've used that word, supercharge. It sounds good.
You've used it a lot, actually.
I have, yeah. Maybe overused it.
Probably. Go back to the Chinese proverb.
Oh, well, yeah.
Moving on.
There's obviously loads more that goes into this, but we're just giving you a quick brief.
So the
run
C
through here.
is Chinese?
The C is for Chinese food. The C is for close. So obviously closing the deal when you list the house, closing the sale, getting it through, getting paid.
Yeah.
And there's loads that goes into that. So we talk about our fee here and how much we're charging, and we've touched on that earlier in the podcast, haven't we, about what a massive difference it makes. Charge the right fee. We talk about negotiation and how we handle offers, don't we?
Yeah.
How it's always one person, the same person that handles it all the way through, not multiple people. You always reject the first offer. You push people as high as they can go. All these sorts of things that they won't get from other agents really can help you
That
to
are not
stand out.
2%.
That are not 2%.
That's why.
And just on the fee thing, something that's come to mind, because I had it on the conversation I had with Olivia this morning. She was saying, you are, X agent was doing it for this, you're doing it for this. And so I quickly, normally on my phone, work out what the difference is between those two fees. And this morning it was £3,000, the difference. So, surely, John, I've demonstrated to you why we're worth at least £3,000 more than...
Can you save everyone by their last name in their phone if they're all called John? Just so you
Most
can
of my clients are
differentiate.
called John.
The good thing about it is you can just answer the phone and say, "Hi, John."
Yeah. Oh, how did you know it was me?
Yeah.
It's all in the art process. What's that? All clients must be called John.
Change their name.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, this is all in our plan, isn't it? It's the blueprint. And what amuses me sometimes is you'll occasionally get asked, "How do you get 2%? Like, is there a script or something like? It's not Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
There is
Expelliarmus.
Yeah, it's a process that has to be followed consistently. And if you're not doing it, then you probably will struggle. There'll be some people out there that can sell sand to the Arabs, won't there, and occasionally get it. But this is a process that pretty much anybody can follow. It really is. It's about implementation.
Right, if you can follow it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
anyone can follow it.
I'm testament to it. It's a blueprint that anyone can follow. It's just about implementation and consistency with it. And we also have, with this, in addition to the documentation, the actual plans, like Jakey alluded to then, other bits that go with it, home staging guides, handbooks, all sorts that are available. It literally is the whole package that you can take into your next year, go through and say, right, I'm going to have my best year ever. It is. And I truly believe it. And yes, we are sat on this side of the table with something that is ours.
Yeah.
And we want to attract more. Of course we do.
Yeah.
But I promise you, it comes from a place where we've all been.
Yeah.
And we just know we can help a lot of people out there. And we'd love to do that. Like I say, it's been an incredible journey this last few years, lads. I am very proud to be involved with you guys. Very proud of our members as well. I'm very much looking forward to what 2026 brings.
Yeah.
Have you got anything to add?
Who's got the tissues? I was going to say.
I know.
Hey,
Well,
who's got the proverbs? We got any more proverbs?
on
No
that
proverbs,
bombshell.
We have got a
Lads.
little proverb actually, just that
Oh,
popped to
go on.
mind there. If a tree falls over in the woods and no one's there to hear it, did it actually fall?
Wait, because you found it.
Did it?
Did it make a sound?
Did it make a sound?
Oh.
And we'll
I thought it was there's a bear in the
Did I get that
no?
proverb wrong?
Did it make
Yeah,
a sound?
there you go. Maybe Scott should do the proverb next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Yeah.
We sit selling houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lads, listen. Been a pleasure.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and we're very excited for what 2026 brings. So, listen, thank you so much for listening to the podcast every week. We're growing our audience, which we really appreciate. Never take it for granted. And
And if you're watching this podcast and you've fallen asleep, wake up.
yes, indeed.
Wake up.
No, but seriously, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you
Soon.
this year in 2026.
This year.
That's when it's going out.
Next week.
Yeah, we all hope you have a great year.
Bye.
Bye.